Little toy stuffed fowl.
It's festive.
Heather, people come here to try and win big bucks, not to enjoy little toy stuffed animals and decorations.
I want them to be dazzled. After all, it is your club, Luke.
Nothing dazzling about that atrocity.
Okay, decadent then. Luke's fans love to sin. They want to see this party played out in excess. And I want to inspire them to do things they'll regret Sunday morning.
This isn't a brothel, Heather. Maybe you'd be more comfortable investing in one of those.
Just remember one thing. If it weren't for me, the Haunted Star would still be owned by Lorenzo Alcazar.
I'm starting to think that might be more preferable.
Feel free to resign as hostess anytime you want. And then once this place opens, no one will remember you had anything to do with it. I left some more decorations in the car. Maybe while I'm gone, you can explain to Skye how things are going to work around here from now on.
How much longer do you expect me to put up with that thing?
Until we prove she killed Ross and stashed Laura.
Well, does she have to be so hands-on with you, Luke? She's practically wearing your cologne.
It keeps her close.
Are you telling me you'd actually sleep with that lunatic?
You know, Luke, if you need help choosing something to wear to the opening, I'd be happy to help out.
I can dress myself.
But how good are you at undressing?
This is ridiculous. This casino looks like a bingo hall.
Where's your holiday spirit?
As I recall, Blaze, last year you decorated over my objections.
I was throwing a Christmas party for the construction staff.
Well, our paying guests certainly deserve the same attention. I want them to have fun here. But you're always so downbeat and miserable. You clearly don't know how to inspire any kind of revelry.
Whereas Heather knows how to heat up any occasion.
Glad you remember.
Oh, I think I'm gonna be sick.
Maybe something bubbly would help. Let's all have a drink.
Good idea.
A toast to the big night.
You know what? Toast yourselves. I'm going for a walk.
Gonna go after her?
Skye's a big girl. Besides, I've been waiting to get you alone.
I like the sound of that. This reminds me of a night from our last weekend when we stayed up all night dancing in that little club.
Right.
Oh, look, we could have been good together. If we'd only had half a chance. You were still in love with Laura then.
Well, things change, you know. Laura's lost in her own mind. She's not the same woman I fell in love with.
Maybe it's time you loved again.
Well, things are complicated. I can't do that until she's safely back in her hospital room. I feel responsible.
I hate to see you so worried.
I'd like nothing more than to get on with my life, but I can't until she's safe.
I want you to move on, Luke. I can help.
I'm so sorry. Must be a little dusty in here.
That's part of the ambiance. Keep a little dust in the air and the customers stay thirsty.
Speaking of which, is it hot in here? Or is it just us?
I'd like to apologize.
For barging in without knocking, please don't let it happen again.
For walking out when I should have been working. Reopening the Haunted Star is such a big job, and really, I had no right to storm out like that.
Apology accepted.
All right. There, see? If we keep working together, all our dreams will come true.
All my dreams are very specific, Luke. You better rest up. Skye, I put up the money to save this place. You work for me. Is there some part of that you don't understand?
No.
Because one more act of insubordination, one more little tantrum from you, and you're out of here for good.
Heather, My partner and I have been over the game plan. We know exactly how this is going to play out.
Luke, whatever you say. Having you back in my life gives me an incredible sense of peace. Oh, on second thought, I don't think you should be back there. Behind the bar is no place for a drunk.
Except, of course, for the owner of the joint who's never over an arm's reach from the booze. Would you mind oiling the roulette wheel? I hear something squeaking.
Sure, Luke. Anything for you.
Oh, Skye, try not to dress so dowdy tonight. I mean, we want the atmosphere to be festive, not frumpy.
Skye's look is always classic. She knows her priorities. The important thing here is that we all get what we want.
Well, in that case, Skye, just stay out of the way. Luke and I will greet the guests as they arrive.
The next person you will be greeting is my attorney.
Oh, sweetheart, it's so good
Don't
to see you.
sweetheart me, you tarantula. You're finished spending my money.
You have no idea how glad I am to see you.
You can see me just fine right from there.
The game is over. My father knows everything.
I don't know what you've been told, but I wasn't responsible for having you committed.
You did everything but drive the van.
It was all Tracy. She wanted control of your money.
You know what? I told my father what I did. Now it's your turn.
You warned me about her yourself. You said that she was a greedy little schemer, incapable of being honest. You don't think she's telling the truth about this?
I had my doubts. But then I had a little chat with Dr. Lightfoot, the psychiatrist you paid off.
I did nothing of the kind.
You're telling me he's lying too?
I certainly am. Tracy must have bribed him.
The family was right all along, Heather. You're a money-grubbing fortune hunter. You'll never get a dime on my money. This marriage is over as soon as the papers are signed.
Edward, you're being manipulated, but not by me.
I know. I know I was manipulated. But it won't happen again.
Luke, don't worry. Our business venture will not be affected by this temporary misunderstanding between my husband and myself.
Edward, if I were you, I'd rethink that divorce thing.
Why, Luke? So you can reopen the club with the money Heather stole from me.
No, sir. Because if you divorce that woman, you're going to be dead before the ink is dry.
Laura was living in our attic?
You're absolutely sure about that?
Dylan found her. He said she was still wearing the wristband from the hospital. He rushed right over here, but by the time we got to the attic, Heather had already moved her.
Why? Why would Heather keep Laura hidden from the world?
Same reason she pinned Ross Duncan's murder on me. So she could have Luke all to herself.
Oh, I'm sorry. No offense.
None taken? My guess is that she planned to marry you, bump you off, and show up at my doorstep a rich widow.
See, Lila's death was just a happy accident for Heather, Edward. By marrying you, she could finance her whole demented plan to have Luke for herself.
God, this whole thing seems so surreal.
Maybe you just don't want to admit how thoroughly you were bamboozled, Daddy.
Now that you've told Heather you plan to divorce her, she's going to try to kill you.
That's ridiculous. She has to know she can't get away with that.
Edward, she's already gotten away with a whole hell of a lot. The way to stop her, I think, is to go ahead and let her take a shot at you. Edward didn't seem all that thrilled about your having him committed. Does that mean you've been moved out of the master suite? Here's your loving husband now.
Have a good night, Heather. Because my legal staff is going to make sure this is one of the last you spend as Mrs. Edward Quartermain.
Edward, do you have to be so harsh?
You had him committed to a mental hospital.
No, you and your family had him locked up so you could take advantage of him, and I was powerless to stop it.
You put this whole scheme together.
I was protecting you, trying to save your fortune.
Don't you mean steal it?
Your daughter is jealous of our relationship because you love me and you reject her.
No. Family's right all along. You're a bloody fortune hunter.
Oh, leave her alone. You blue bloods are all alike. You're threatened by anybody with half a brain and a little chutzpah.
She's an unconscionable schemer.
She coldly and deliberately seduced my father.
I tried to help him.
By taking advantage of his grief?
You took advantage. You took advantage of her comfort. And now you're turning on her like a pack of jackals. Well, I'm not going to have it here, not tonight. If you can't see this woman for the treasure she is, you can damn well abandon my ship.
Are you throwing us out?
One more insult, and it'll be my pleasure to toss you both overboard.
You two deserve each other.
No one's ever defended me like that.
I think it's working.
I think he likes deceiving her a little too much.
Not that I care.
You must start a lot of conversations that way.
You know that Luke doesn't care about Heather. He's only working her for information.
You're the expert on manipulation.
Why don't you get over yourself? Just be grateful that Heather will soon be out of our lives for good.
You know, I want to tell you something. Spencer Zumsat and I are fast cash and loose women. I wouldn't be surprised if he double-crossed us all.
Hey. Keep your eyes over here on me.
I just hate the way Edward's glaring at me.
Hey, let him glare. So he said a couple of rude things. We've both heard worse. Don't let him get to you.
It'd be so much easier if he just died.
In the act.
Okay, this stops now.
Why the cold? I thought you wanted to bust Heather.
I do. But I'd also like us to all live through all of this, Luke. In case you haven't forgotten, Heather is a murderer. She killed Ross, set me up. She's holding Laura captive. Now she's trying to kill Edward?
I know, genius, isn't it?
And what if she succeeds? I don't want to risk Edward's life.
If Tracy hasn't managed to bump the old boy off by now, Heather's not gonna do it.
Okay, then. What about you?
Well, she's not gonna ice me. I'm her prize.
Don't remind me.
Jealous?
Look, I just want this over, okay?
Then let me do my job.
And what if Heather finds out that you betrayed her? She'll try to kill you, Luke. Is that what you want?
Time to mingle. See if you can't get some more of our customers to part with their hard-earned cash.
I wasn't thinking clearly when I said it would be easier if Edward was dead.
Oh, relax, Heather. It's not illegal to wish somebody were dead. You have to go through with it. And even then, it's only a crime if you're caught.
On the next General Hospital.
We've got to take care of Edward once and for all. I'm sorry it had to come to this, Edward. But we were never exactly candidates for happily ever after, were we? Ours was a marriage of convenience. And unfortunately for you, it's become inconvenient for me.
Get out of my face!
I don't understand what just happened.
That's because you don't pay attention. You were supposed to wait for me to come back before you tried to kill anybody.
Why are you treating me like I'm the enemy here? Anything I've done or tried to make happen was out of love for you. Acting alone, trying to go after Edward, that was to protect you. In case you missed it, I'm completely and totally in love with you. I thought you understood that.
Well, let's find out exactly what I do understand. I understand that you love me enough to kill Edward. You love me enough to ice pick Detective Duncan and frame Skye for it. Do you love me enough to kidnap my wife from the nut farm and use her for cover? To frame her as a stalker and a killer? Was that for me, Heather? Was it?
Yes! Yes, all right. I did all that. And I'd do even more, whatever it takes to get back to who we were that beautiful Caribbean weekend. I've never forgotten it. You've ruined me for any other man. Okay, let's forget about Edward's money. Let's just run away together. We'll make our own money. We'll have a blast doing it.
There's only one thing that you can do for me, and that is tell me where my wife is.
I'd start being a little nicer to me if I were you. Or you'll never see your precious Laura again.
Where is Laura?
I realize you still love her. But Laura's gone, Luke. She can't take in your love. She's moved so far inside herself she can't be reached, and you should move on too. Let me make you happy. I know I can. Is that so distasteful to you?
Where's my wife? Where is she? Where is she?
Luke, get off her. What the hell's going on?
I'll tell you what's going on. You're lucky to be breathing for one thing. She admitted it all. She killed Duncan, she framed you, and she kidnapped Laura.
Nobody make a move. For this is one dead redhead.
All right. You want to talk about this? I understand. We'll do that, but let Skye go. She has nothing to do with this, Heather. This is between you and me.
You've made your personal feelings towards me abundantly clear. There's no point in further discussion. It's sad, really, because you and I could have had it all.
Heather, please. You don't want to do this. Let Skye go. You make a run for it. We'll make sure you get a head start. Please.
I don't think so. Because you see, I don't trust either one of you. And as long as I have this one here, oh yeah, I know you won't make a move on me. Until I figure out what to do. I just need time to think. And if I even so much as suspect you're following me, this one's dead.
Heather! Don't go this way. No sign of either one of them.
Time to call the police.
No, Edward, no cops. Heather's future just blew up in her face. She's got nothing left to lose now. If she's cornered, 2 lives are in danger. Skye's and Laura's. That's a risk we can't take.